was a really good game.
You play the city over here.
Yeah.
So I just do what I'm
That's on the good side,
playing.
Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular meeting of the Beacon Board of Education. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Larry Cohen.
Here.
Betsy Dennis.
Here.
Jennifer Edge.
Here.
Christine Galbo.
Here.
Frank Garnott.
Here.
Georgia Patchen.
Excused.
Mary Beth Stevens.
Excused.
Phil Zoff.
I think he's just running late.
Melissa Thompson.
Here. Mr. Hilberg, if you'll review the fire exits.
Directly behind our audience, and in case of emergency, on both sides of the room are our fire exits. I'd like to welcome everyone tonight, my colleagues. We have some students from Mount St. Mary College, from Mr. Reese's class, and we're glad you're here. If you have any questions, please say them for Mr. Reese. Welcome. This evening, we've invited our elementary principals to give their opening of school, the beginning of school report. And I see that the first person on the list is none other than Mrs. Condello from Blenheim. Welcome.
Good evening. So we opened up our doors with 502 students this year. So we are packed in our building. Our average class sizes are up to 23 with fourth grade with 28 students in each class. So we're feeling the effects of that with all of our other spaces and resources for computers. We conducted a kindergarten meet and greet the day before school opened, and that really eased the transition for our kindergarten students to come in, and we really didn't have a lot of criers, and that's really from the parents. Newsletters, the first one went home in paper form, but all of our newsletters will be on the web. Fire drills, you know, the fire drills we have to do 12 in a school year. We currently have 5 done underneath our belt, with a couple more happening as the weather is going to be hopefully conducive this week. Our first announced lockdown drill is going to happen this September 27th. The kindergarten, pre-K, and first grade parents receive a letter so that they know of the first lockdown drill to help with their children. We've already started our monthly grade level meetings to focus on the APPR and assessment analysis. Our student council is up and running. They've just completed their elections. All of our new staff members had a really nice, easy transition, and we welcome them to Glenham School. Drop-off and pickup is a little busy. We currently have 12 school buses coming in and out of our school building, but our drop-off and pickup volume has increased tremendously. So I'm now the traffic cop outside to let the buses come in. We have usually the cars already lined up on Petticoat Lane all the way down to Labby's Pizza. So it's a little rough in the morning coming in. We're continuing the following community partnerships this year. We hook up with Renegades, and we'll continue with our Renegade Reader program. We work with Excel Medical Group and do our teddy bear clinic for grades kindergarten and first grade. Slater Fire Company will be there for October for the Fire Prevention Day, which is a huge event. Fishkill Police Department, in conjunction with Fishkill Walmart, for our bike safety program, and they usually do donate several bikes for some of our students. Junior Achievement will be coming in again for 4th and 5th grade, and Planned Parenthood again for the 5th grade puberty discussions in the spring. So Harvey asked us to come up with a funny story. It was too busy to come up with a funny story. It's boot camp Candela right now for dismissal. That's all I can tell you.
Well, we're just writing that down. You owe us one story.
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, another disappointment.
There's no time for funniness.
Well, I know I can always count on Mrs. Richards. We'd like to invite her to provide us with the report from Forrestal School.
I just want to say I've had a wonderful time. It has been so much fun. I don't know if I remember it being as much fun before, but I think it was. I think it's been kind of like Old Home Week. Walking around, seeing parents who were kids of mine has been really great. A couple of stories. I was in the office one day, and I overheard this, "Is that Ophelia Richards?" And he said, "It can't be." I looked at him when I came out, and I could see he was just incredulous. His thought bubble was, she was old when I was 5th grade, sitting in that chair most of my days. She must be ancient now. But anyway, it was so much fun. And the thing that was funny, when he took off his sunglasses, I didn't have to say, "What's your name?" It's amazing how the faces come back and the names. That really surprised me. And then the other day, you probably heard about our emergency fire drill. Was it last Tuesday? As the firefighters are getting ready to come in to investigate, this man turns around and says, "Ophelia Richards!" He put his hose down and gave me a hug. It was so much fun. Both of these kids were kids that I saw a lot. And so I said to myself, I must have done something right all those hours sitting in the office with me. So it's been really fun. I really, really enjoyed my time with them. On, Thursday, we had our back to meet the teacher night. And you know how we bring the parents in to the auditorium or to the cafeteria to kind of get their spiel from the principal. And I noticed that there were so many people, and I thought, wow, they must really want to hear what I have to say. Well, it turns out they really just wanted to meet Mr. Wright, who came that night to be introduced to the parents. They really enjoyed the opportunity to meet him. They were all lined up to say hello to him. It was very nice, a very nice evening. The teachers arranged for us all to get together with Mr. Wright for pizza beforehand. And that was really, really quite nice. They, we're looking at ways to help him make the transition. I've been saving every piece of paper from Barbara so that he will be right on the APPR page. Actually, it's a lot to do. And after having learned all that there is to do, I'm disappointed that I won't see how the story ends, so I'll have to check with my colleagues. Anyway, school did open, and things went really well. I especially love the fact that we have our own buses. If I'd known that, maybe I wouldn't have retired. It has made life so much easier. We have our 3 buses. We look up at about 3:15. The buses are out there. The kids get on the bus, and they are gone. The cafeteria is empty by 3:35. That never happened in all the years I was here before, so that was a real pleasure. Cafeteria lines went fast, no problems there. Things have gone really well. We opened a new class, a spectrum class, and I really do commend Frank Mulhorn and Chris Shea for the work they did. The 5 students who are in that class, there was a bit of a transition, but they things are settling down, and it's so much better having them right here than to spend so much time on a bus. So we're pleased about that. Let's see. I think that's about it. Oh, I do want to invite you to the National Walk to School Day on October 3rd. Forrestal will be participating. Actually, the impetus for this event came as a result of Dr. Hilberg and Anne-Marie working with the city of Beacon, who they're applying for a grant to fix the sidewalks over on Liberty Street. And if they get that grant, the focus will be on having children walk to school for a lot of reasons. The exercise, but the other is just to kind of get us out of the habit of driving to school. There is never enough parking. There is always congestion, no matter where around school. So we hope that they get the grant and we'll fix the sidewalks. And I invite you to join us for our Walk to School Day on October 3rd. Details will be coming. Thank you very much for the opportunity to spend my time with you, and have a great year.
Well, don't go away. Don't go away.
Okay.
On behalf of the Board of Education, the school district, we'd like to give you a small token of our appreciation for your truly outstanding service. And it says, an appreciation for outstanding service to Ophelia Richards in recognition as interim principal at Forrestal Elementary School. So that's something to hang on the wall besides all those wonderful memories.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Very much.
It's very thoughtful.
Thank you.
I'm reminded of Pavlov and his experiments. When I came up, the first thing the administrator said, "Where's the cake?" Unfortunately, there's no cake, but
This is perfect.
good, thank you. Next, we'd like to invite Tark Hanjang, our wonderful principal from Sargent Elementary School.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And just to speak about Mrs. Richards, too, I know she had a short stint as interim, but I always look back as her as one of my mentors here when I first started, and all the great things she did during her career before she retired, so thank you. What I want to do is I just want to give a quick rundown. If you peel back the roof of Sargent Elementary School, hopefully there's no rain, but just to give you an idea of what was occurring and as far as enrollment and the programs that are being provided there. We started the year off with 367 students, which is the highest we've had in some time. We have one pre-kindergarten class, and we have 2 sections of each K through 5. As Sargent, we host inclusion programs through 1 through 5, so first grade inclusion, second grade, all the way up to 5th grade. And we also have 4 self-contained classes. We have a K1, a 2-3, a 4-5, and then also a 3-5 therapeutic class. This year, we have a literacy teaching assistant who is supporting Margaret Feinstein, our reading teacher, as far as identifying and supporting students to help them excel to their potential. We do have a new gym floor, which if you look out the door that has a little bit of a window on the top floor, it actually looks like we have a pool because it's a bright blue, and when the sun comes in just right, it highlights along the wall, so it looks like we have a pool, which is great. People walk in like, "Oh, you have a pool?" I'm like, "No, we don't," but it's nice to dream. But actually that brought along a familiar face too. Mr. Simon had stopped by, who was our facilities director for many years. And so he got a chance to see his hard work actually be installed and see what the finished product looked like. So it was nice to see him there. As far as benchmarking goes, we are implementing AimsWeb for our 3rd year, so we're hoping that we have it right this time. We're constantly looking on how to improve the schedules, identify the needs for students, and then creating interventions, which for us, our literacy teaching assistant will be coming in quite handy for that. We are progressing with our 7 Habits facilitation of that process. Last year, we had all of the current faculty and staff be trained in the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is Dr. Covey's research. I think most people have heard of it. This year, we actually have purchased planners to integrate into the classrooms to establish not only the process for the kids, but also to have that communication with families so that we're working on a consistent language, consistent goals on a monthly basis. The planner actually has the students write down their goals for the month that reflect one of the habits or the principles behind the 7 Habits. To further support that, our PTO is actually going to be hosting a book club starting in October going through June. So we'll have 1 session a month, one 1-hour session per month starting in October through June, where we're going to have the books available for people to look through, but also for them to purchase either the actual book, the workbook. There's a 7 Habits of Happy Kids. That's great to add into their library so they can share that with their child. And then what we'll do is we'll actually meet once a month, and it'll be an hour long where we'll have initial facts and information about what the reading was about. We have it chunked out so that it's manageable on a monthly basis, and then how it can help them improve their own personal lives, but then also how that can help them support their students' academic and social lives as they develop. So our vision is where we're using consistent language and supporting the students, where they'll actually work on being more responsible and accountable for their own decisions, and to be able to do a check-in process to see if their actions are supporting their purpose and their goals. We're going to have more of that information in our newsletter, and as well as our website. We're actually expanding our newsletter. We're actually doubling in size. We're going to 4 pages. The front and back will be the typical information that we've had in past years. There's a principal's report, anything that's current for that month. The back of it will have dates, a PTO submission, and other information. What we're doing on the inside now is we actually have student reporters from 5th grade that are going around the building and gathering information on what's going to be happening that current month. So we'll have October, we'll find out what's happening from pre-K through 5, our special areas, and any other information that we feel is pertinent that the students communicate. I do have a little story to share that I feel it truly reflects the focus that the building has, and that's the faculty, staff, parents, and the overall Sargent community. And basically, it just exemplifies how we're focused on doing performing and providing what students need, not based on our roles, but based on the need that the student demonstrates. It was the first full week of school was the second Thursday. So school started on Wednesday, and we had Thursday the following week. We had a student that was there until 5:45. And for about an hour and a half, we weren't able to get through to the parents. No communication through the phone or anything. And we're trying to figure out, well, we have to go down the list and figure out who else we can reach out to. Luckily, we had their form where we can reach out to emergency contacts, which we ultimately were able to do. But as soon as adults saw that this child was a little upset and still there after the buses have left and way after dismissal, everybody started chipping in. Our librarian took her downstairs, got her a book, had her visit the library because I think they only had one brief visit there at that point. Other people came in, checked in on her teacher. She also got to sit in on the PTO meeting we were having that night. And as the meeting disbanded, the parents that were there just jumped in, made sure she had a snack. We had daycare or childcare set up so that we could have parents that didn't have childcare at home that could still attend the meeting. And she just really just like got immersed in that and got to visit some familiar friends. But it was just nice because nobody was worried about the gossip of what was going on. They just saw that the student was a little upset, and they just jumped in to see how they could assist. And I'm looking forward to a great year with the faculty and staff that did that, as well as the parents and the overall Sargent community.
Great report. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So that's it. And we'll move right along now. Mrs. Conrad of South Avenue School.
Good evening. I have plenty to share tonight and a lot of changes that happened, especially over the summer. We had some major resurfacing work on our bricks in the front of the building and the back of the building. Our entire front of our building, if you have not seen it, has been repointed, so it looks like a brand new building. That took a lot of work and effort and organization because they came in the Monday right after school ended, and they finished right up until the beginning of school starting. It looks beautiful. Inside we had some much needed electrical updates. Most of the classrooms only had 1 or 2 electrical outlets. So that was the number one thing the teachers noticed when they came back this year, that some of them have 4 electrical outlets. And so the whole building's been rewired. We also have wireless in our building right now. I also was fortunate enough to have 2 walls put up. If you've been in our building, we had a global room that was split up mainly by bookshelves, and it really wasn't conducive to learning. So we were able to put a wall up for our ESL teacher, which is definitely a more positive learning environment for the students. We also had a computer lab makeover from educational grant money from Senator Salan's office. And so our lab is now outfitted, it's doubled in size, and it's now outfitted with a smart board, which our teachers actually tomorrow throughout the district are being trained at the high school. And I want to personally thank Mr. Tim Fashine for spearheading this grant and the opportunity and constantly being on site throughout this to ensure that everything was put up and installed correctly, and he gave lots of feedback throughout the transformation. We also started our enrollment. I'll start with how we ended last year with 465 students, which is typically a little lower. We averaged 475, and we've maxed at 490. We actually, at this moment, only have 405, which is the lowest that I've ever had, and I'm not complaining. In the past 2 months, about 65 students have exited the building, mainly to different countries and states. A handful left the district, and the rest transferred within the district because their program has changed. I share these numbers with you because it's important to understand that we continue to have students that come in and out of our, that leave our building and come in because we're a very transient building. We still have 3 teachers per grade level and a pre-K teacher that teaches our morning and afternoon pre-K. We had some safety plan updates this year. We recently tightened up our dismissal procedure to ensure the safety of all students. The location of the building has always been challenging, being right in the middle of the city, and as some of the other administrators have mentioned, there's really no parking. So getting 400 plus students in and out of the building has always been a challenge, but we've been able to clear the pathways for the buses, and we are signing out all of our pickups. And some students still walk, but we sign out approximately 220 students a day for their guardian signs them out. And we're getting out 25 minutes earlier than we ever have since I started. So it's actually been a positive, and I can look out the front door and there's nobody in the bus loop because all of them are coming in and out by the cafeteria. So that's been a positive. I thank the building staff and faculty for supporting and helping with that. Mr. Mackey in Transportation has worked very hard with his staff to rearrange the buses. Sergeant and I don't have our own buses yet, but we are getting there. This year, we're out 25 minutes earlier, and that's with the buses as well. Last year, I would only get the kids home. They would only leave the building the latest 3:54 o'clock sometimes, and that's 45 minutes when school has been over. So a huge thank you for Mr. Maggie in Transportation and the restructuring over at in his office, because we're definitely noticing the difference. We continue in our building to focus on safe and appropriate behavior. That comes with the beginning of opening of school, routines and procedures. All the classroom teachers are still going over that and reinforcing what we expect. Our library and media specialist is doing a lot of units on computer safety and bullying. With that being said, we also are focusing, this summer I focused on reallocating how I'm using staff. So I was fortunate enough this year in the 6-day cycle to have all my teachers have 6 days of common planning time, which this year with all the mandates, it's become quite useful. I've also reallocated the teaching aides and the teaching assistants to better serve our students. We are focusing on intervening as much as possible at the Tier 2 and Tier 3 level. I have my math TA who's pushing into every classroom in the building 2 times in a 6-day cycle for 45 minutes, which means there's support in every single classroom, 90 minutes in a 6-day cycle. I was also able to move around another TA, and she's supporting in the reading room. We average about 80 to 85 students throughout the whole building that need some sort of support. So this has definitely helped support the reading teacher. I've also put teaching aides into the classroom as much as possible over the last 2 years, and this year I was able to add 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade some teaching aid time so that they can help with doing, handing out papers and doing assessments with the teachers in order to streamline what they need to get done. So I do have a funny little story. I have lots of funny stories, but I'm only going to say one of them publicly. This year already, with the educational changes, we are all trying to keep an open mind, eat a lot of chocolate, and laugh a lot. And recently, a staff member who shall remain nameless has been kind enough to post commentary on all of our bathroom walls, the faculty ones, not the students, for a little light reading. And all the comics are all Common Core aligned. So if you are in the neighborhood and would like to update on your Common Core alignment, they're all in our bathrooms. And that's where our humor is coming in. So I am very pleased with our opening this school year. We had a seamless opening with all the support of the faculty and staff, and I look forward to a successful year. Thank you all for your time.
Thank you very much. Kelly, would you, no, you just have to read it for a second.
So make that motion. Okay, so
Borrow my
motion.
glasses, Bill?
Oh, I can pass it to Mary.
No, just make sure I can read it. A motion to adjourn executive session to review the employment history of a particular person and matters made confidential by state and or federal law, attorney-client privilege, and the board will return as soon as possible.
Second.
That was a third. Mary got seconded. Oh, I didn't have it. Comments or questions?
Thank you.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. We'll return as soon as possible.